course, so we keep some of that. If I'm the only licensed one, obviously that's gonna be my money. Took the opportunity, got his license, and he went to go work for Remax, I think it was. As soon as he passed his first year that he could apply for his broker's license, he went to go do his broker's license, and that's when we decided to do lifestyle. Lifestyle came about primarily, it was gonna be geared to specifically investments and agents that only wanted to do investments. We never wanted to tackle the traditional side. So we came up with the idea of 100% commissions. We were one of the first companies that started offering that. That literally spread like wildfire. Before you know it, I think within the first 6 months, we had close to 100 agents already. It was fun. New agents were coming in every day. But then we started accepting all agents. Before you know it, I don't know, 2 years, I think it is, 2.5 years, we're at 410, I think is the last, 417, I think is the last number that we saw, 7 offices. We never expected it to get this big, that's for sure. But that's basically the history of it. InvestQuest Partners is the umbrella corporation, if you'd like to call it. It's a company that has done, you're good to go? Okay. It's a company that's done over about $100 million of transactions. We've done over 1,000 fix and flips, and right now, presently in 5 other states. 5 other states at the moment. And predominantly, as I said, strictly investment properties is what InvestQuest does. Lifestyle obviously does a little bit of both. Yes?
Question, do you guys have like off market properties that we can?
We do,
Okay.
but normally I keep most of those.
So a couple questions.
Yes.
First thing, do we have a standard LOI that we use?
No. No. I don't use LOIs only for commercial properties.
Right, but for commercial, do we have an LOI?
No.
Okay. And then.
Like, we do very little commercial.
So-
There's probably 3 people in the office that do commercial. It's probably me, Jose, and me. Realistically, very few people do commercial.
I'll probably want to get with you on that later then.
Okay.
You mentioned 5 states. What 5 states?
Florida, Texas, Arizona, Illinois, and New Jersey.
Okay. And then lastly, you mentioned earlier that you were starting out flipping contracts, but that's not possible anymore. So if you want to kind of talk a little bit about the difference between flipping contracts versus actually closing on it.
Well, it's
how
just
you're
simply,
doing
it's an
that.
assignment. It was more of an assignment of contract. REOs in the beginning, you were able to assign the contract and not have to close. If I found the buyer, here's my piece of paper, give me my money, basically. Now you have to actually close on the transaction. There's no assignment of contracts anymore for foreclosure properties. Even some traditionals are now putting that. They don't want a middleman eating up any of their profits. So now it was good because if you actually had the money, now you can still stay in the game. Of course, that all changed because now there's transactional funders and all these other lovely things that lets just anybody become an investor. But that was the wild west back then. When I tell you, we would probably have $300,000 weeks. I wasn't lying. It was fun back then. A lot more money than there was today. It was easy. Flipping contracts, money came in, no money left. There were no rehabs, there wasn't closing, it was just money in your pocket. It was fun times. Very, very fun time. I mean, that's what allowed us to build what we have today. If it wasn't for that, obviously, we were 4 guys in our late 20s, starting overall for a second time, and didn't have that much to go out. But luckily, to those times, we were able to make a good amount of money and build what we have today. Okay, let's get started. Are you recording this already or no?
Yeah.
Oh, you are recording it. Oh, okay. Sorry. Didn't know we had started. Okay. I want to thank you all for coming today. It's Saturday. It feels warm. sure the kitchen and Jesus' office AC is turned all the way down, because I'm warm as hell. Okay, so I was saying, I want to thank you guys for coming out here today on a Saturday morning. It's not something that's easy to do. Shows a good level of devotion from each and every single one of you, and that's definitely a start. Today we will be focused. My name is Fernando Tapia. For those of you that do not know me, I am a managing partner at InvestQuest Partners. I've been with the company pretty much since day one. I am the be-all when it comes to investments. Okay, for those agents that are here that specifically want to focus in the investment world, I strongly urge that you take the time and try and set up an appointment with me. Okay, sit down with me for a couple minutes. Let's discuss. Let's talk about your investment career, what you should be focusing on, what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing, and making sure that investment is right for you. For those of you, make sure you use appointee. If you don't know what I'm talking about, ask Maria, our receptionist. She can inform you on that. Appointee is a system that we have that allows you to make appointments with several executives from the company, okay? If you've ever been to this office, I normally sit right there in that corner office with a beautiful view. You've probably seen me blasting very loud music and running up and down, back and forth between the copy room and my office, and normally looking like I'm going crazy. Normally I am. So people that recently joined the company were a little hesitant to approach me. As soon as you start working with us, you will see that I am the most approachable person probably in the entire company. I love speaking to people. I'll chit chat and we won't stop talking. Almost as much as George. Almost. Not quite as much. That's a whole other level. Sorry, George. But please make sure you get set up. So we created a appointee to be able to allow you to sit down with the likes of myself, Jose, the owner. Okay, there aren't that many companies I know of, okay, that have reached the level of success like we have, and you're able to sit down with the owner of the company for 15 minutes uninterrupted, to pick his brain, to ask him questions, to hear his story. So I definitely encourage you to take advantage of that, okay? Especially as I mentioned, if you do want to focus on the investment world, okay, I always say, I'm gonna follow somebody who's actually doing it. You know, I'm not gonna take advice from someone who hasn't made money or hasn't made it in whatever it is that they're doing. I've never understood why people do that, but it happens, especially in real estate. Surprise, surprise, you know? And it's normally not the agent's fault, it's just, most of the time, it's the company's fault. There's nobody there to teach you, there's nobody there to guide you. The only person that's there is the person sitting next to you in the cubicle that just got their license 3 months before you did, okay? And somebody told them, hey, we should do this, and you start doing it. So definitely take the time, sit down with myself, sit down with some of our higher ups, okay, and just talk about real estate, talk about investments and what it is that you should be focusing on to help you keep track of this network a little easier with obviously our cell phones, social media, okay? I mean, I have an uncle that the first 25 years of my life, I probably saw him once. Now, I see him every couple of weeks. I give him a little phone call. He lives out in New Mexico. I give him a little phone call, a little FaceTime. Hey, uncle, how you doing? You know, and it allows us to connect with people a little easier. So we need to take advantage of that. How you become a millionaire is what everybody wants to know. The answer to that is simple. As soon as you understand or grasp what your network specifically needs or wants, and you can provide it to them, that's how you become successful, and that's how you become a millionaire. Okay? That is as the easiest way to put how you can become a millionaire in your life. Your network is a very, very powerful thing for one reason and one reason only. Does anybody know what that is?
they trust you.
Trust you.
Somewhat, yes, that's part of it. The reason why is because it's yours. It's unique. It belongs to you and only you, not the person next to you, not the person next to them, okay? What you have in your network is yours that nobody else can get, okay? That is why it makes it the most important thing. So, the first thing we need to do in general, okay, is establish what our network is, or who is within our network, okay? That is a very simple thing, obviously due to today's technology, but it's a shame that most of us don't have it done already, okay? I am one of those people, I'm not gonna sit here and lie, I am definitely one of those people that has not done it in a long time. The last time I did it was probably 5 or 6 years ago, when I only knew about 1.5 million people. Now I know about 50.5 million people. But we're changing that. I am a person that believes that you have to lead by example. I've done this class now, maybe a dozen times. In a dozen times that I've done this class, I've probably had 3 people actually do this task that I'm gonna set you guys to do. One of them, he's probably gone through about a quarter of his list, and I know for a fact he's already generated somewhere about between $20,000 and $25,000. There was a young lady, she did it. This year alone, she has already generated about $12,000. And the other individual, after it was the 3rd or 4th person they called, they locked in a $16,000 commission, okay? It works, I promise you. Not only have I done it before, but I'm actually going to start doing it again. As of Monday, I will be doing this again. I'm gonna prove to everyone that this system actually works. And if I can take time of my busy schedule, if I can take the time to try and generate more income, then everyone in this room should do the same, okay? So, the first thing that we're gonna talk about today in the package that I presented to you guys, okay? When you turn it over to the first page, okay? The first thing that we're actually gonna talk about is determining your why. Okay, some of you might not know what I'm talking about. Determining your why is gonna pretty much focus on your mindset, okay? I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't sugarcoat everything, I give it to you straight, okay? Real estate is extremely difficult, okay? Extremely difficult. There's a reason why you have, what is it, 84%, 86% of agents only do 1 deal a year, something along those lines. It's a proven fact by the Association of Realtors. So I don't know about you guys, and I don't know what your expenses are, but unless that's a $10 million property, I don't know how you can live off 1 deal a year. No, I really don't, unless you marry a sugar daddy or a sugar mom. Not, you're in trouble. I definitely can't live off 1 deal, okay? It is a very tough business. Look around, in our own company, we have 400 agents. Well, do you happen to know the number of how many agents there are in South Florida? 200,000 or something like that?
Probably 4 right now.
400,000 realtors. How many of you have a family member or friend that's a realtor? Raise your hand. Probably every single one of you. Probably every single one. Okay? So, this is a very difficult business. It's very competitive. So you have to really strive to go above and beyond and think outside the box. Okay? So, the first thing that I like to do for everyone is I want you to determine a why. I want you to have a strong mindset because you're going to have a lot more bad days than good days. It's just real estate. There's nothing you can do about it. If you focus on the investment world, it's probably even tougher. It's fun as hell, but it is tough. Okay? So, in order to succeed in this business, your mindset has to be on point. You have to be focused. You have to be determined, you have to have blinders on, and just keep your eye on the prize, okay? You have to keep your eye on the prize. So one thing that I always ask everyone to do is to determine your why, okay? I want you to determine your why of why you're here. Why are you in real estate? Why are you waking up on a Saturday early morning and coming to this training, okay? Each and every single one of you has a reason why you're here. 95% of you, it's financially related. There's no problem in saying it, that's why I'm here. I'm here for the money, no other reason, okay? But deep down inside, within that reason of finances, okay, there is a real reason what you plan to do with those finances, okay? Whether it's you want to buy a home for your parents that are older in age and you want to be able for them to retire in peace. You want to buy your log cabin home in Tennessee because that's what you've always wanted, or you want to buy a boat, or you want to get married in Greece, whatever it is. We all have a specific reason what we plan on doing with that money, okay? Mine is simply my family. I work for my family, my son and my wife, that's what I focus on, and my wife told me every next million I make, she'll give me another son, so I'm hoping for 10 million very soon. I want 10 kids. No. Baseball team will go with that. Baseball team will go. But it's very important to determine what that why is, okay? So I'm not asking you to do not to do it today. Some of you already know what it is, okay? But go home, think about it. What is it that's driving you? Okay? Why did you wake up and come to this training today? Because there's 20 of you here, but there's 400 agents that work for us. There's 200,000, 400,000 that work in South Florida. Our trainings are open to the public. It's not like it's only for lifestyle or only for investments. So why are you guys here, not anyone else? Okay. So think about what that why is. Write it down. Have it somewhere. Throwing it in there. Some of you may or may not do vision boards. Vision boards are also a great thing. I am a firm believer of having your mindset correctly. Okay. But that's not all it is. Yes. A question that you asked me that probably shocked you. Question that you asked me in my office when we sat down. The book. Was it you? No, it wasn't you. Sorry. Sat down with a new agent maybe about a week ago, and we had a very, very good conversation. And he asked me, ask you one question, sure, anything. What is your favorite book? He asked. I knew I could tell that kind of question was coming. Most people tend to associate success with reading for some reason. I don't know why, but it just happens to be that way. And when I looked him dead in the eye and I told him that the answer I was going to give him was going to completely shock him, and I told him that I don't read, he was dumbfounded. You don't read? I don't read a lick. I don't read. I don't have time to read. I really don't. But I told him that is the beautiful thing about this company. There are 6 or 7 success stories that have happened within our organization, and each success story is completely different. Okay? I don't read. I don't even think I know how to read other than contracts. But George reads like a book a day. If you see him there, he has his audiobooks playing all day. He has audiobooks in his car. He has audiobooks while he's working out. He listens to audiobooks on his couch. He reads. And that's what he does. You know, that's what he uses as a driving force. Or that's how he keeps himself motivated. I played sports my whole life. I had to be self-motivated. I just like to win, period. But whatever it is that works for you, okay? So, same thing. Maybe the way that I do things, or my story you can't relate to, but you relate to George's, or you relate to Eric's, or you relate to Jose's, okay? So that is the nice thing that you have about our company. There are multiple avenues or people that you can relate to that will help you through your voyage, okay? So determining your why is very important. Why? If I ever walk to the coffee machine, one of those million times a day that I do it, and I see you had a bad day, or I know a deal fell through and, you know, you're a little bit down, because like I said, you're gonna have more worse days than bad days, but good days. What I like to do is just simply, I go back to you and I say, just remember your why. And you'll stop for a second, you'll think about that log cabin in Tennessee, and you'll say, forget about it, let's get the next one, okay? So this is very important. I strongly urge you to think about this, okay, and always use that as a motivation, okay? It's very important to keep yourself motivated, however it is that you do it, okay? Very, very important, because like I said, this is a tough business. A lot more downs than ups, unfortunately. But when you do get an up, it feels good. I can promise you. All right? Any questions on the why section? Pretty self-explanatory.
You mentioned a very interesting number about, you know, real estate, 80% of it.
Yes.
So for sure they do other things, you know. For sure they come from other worlds too. So how, I mean, maybe you experienced that 10 years ago, 7 years ago, so how you manage, like, you used to have a lifestyle, you used to have you used to be, I don't know, promoted job. Now you do that transition into, okay, I need to do this. I don't even believe in full time because people sell it like all the time.
Right.
So it's like, okay, what is the key to success on that too? I mean, you have to drop everything, change completely, you're a new person, you're 100%.
The piece of paper you have in front of you is the key to success. I promise you. Every training that I've ended, for those of you that have been to my trainings before, you'll remember this story, because I always say, 10, 15 years from now, when I am sitting on my massive yacht somewhere in the French Riviera, pouring champagne on my body, okay, before I am about to sit down with whoever, Barbara Walters in 15 years will be from ABC News, and is sitting down interviewing me, wanting to know what was the secret to our success. How did you create and amass this empire? Because you asked me 5 years ago, and you told me I was gonna be where I am today, and I would have never thought. I'm not gonna lie. I won't sit here and say, yeah, I've dreamed this my whole life. That's complete BS. You ask me today where I will be in 15 years, and I will be on that yacht in the French Riviera. I firmly believe that. But they will be asking me and interview me, like you just asked me, what was the secret to your success? What is that one thing that allowed you to get where you are today? And the answer will always be, and has always been, relationships. Okay? Relationships is the key to success. That's why it's directly tied into your network. Okay? It's all about who you know in this world, unfortunately. Oh, you definitely can't quit. But it's all about relationships, and this is gonna allow you to tap into these relationships that you maybe forgot you even had. Okay? Or maybe you haven't spoken to this person in a really long time, and all of a sudden you find out they're a huge investor and they buy 10 deals a month. And now you're set. So relationships is really what is the key and is the secret to success. And this small little task is gonna teach you how to do that. Okay, the problem is, once again, 90% of you, okay, that means probably 2 of you, maybe 2 of you, probably only 1 of you, including myself within that group, will do this. It's a shame. But, getting back to that. So, key is relationships. Promise you, that is always gonna be the answer, okay? There are 3 groups of people that I've gone ahead and divided this little task for you for, okay? The first group is the easy group. These are your friends, your family members, people that you associate with on a regular basis. These are the people that you feel most comfortable with, okay? These are people that you know that you can call, make a complete ass out of yourself, okay? And you're okay with it, okay? This is how you want to start, okay? You want to start off easy. You want to get warmed up before you start going to the more difficult groups, okay? So, what is it that you do, okay? We have our cell phones, okay? Nice and easy, you plug a little cable into it, you put it into your computer, it downloads all your contacts, now you have all your contacts, excuse me, on a piece of paper, okay? Now you will go Starting at A, abuela. Okay, who's abuela? Abuela's family. Okay, she goes in family. Aaron, who's Aaron? Oh, Aaron's that guy from high school that I went with. Okay, he's a friend. Okay, who's Aardvark? Oh, Aardvark is that rich guy that I met that one time in college that he flew me to Vegas with my girlfriends. You put Aardvark, Aardvark's gonna go into another section. Okay, but you go one by one through every single contact on your phone. Okay, that's where you're gonna start with first. Why? Because you have their numbers. Okay. 6,800. 6,800. Just phone contacts. Then, everybody here, I'm sure, probably has social media. You either have a Facebook or an Instagram or something along those lines. Okay? Same thing. Okay? You'll go through that. You'll use that to get your network. Okay? Those that have LinkedIn. LinkedIn, if you don't, get it. It's not what it used to be, but might as well have another avenue or source of connecting with people. So I definitely recommend it. If you don't have one, make sure you get it. Okay? Grab all these different platforms that you have throughout your life. Some of you, how many of you still have your original email, that first email that you had when you were young? I still have it. I still have my AOL one. I don't use it anymore, but I still have my AOL one. Yeah? Yours is also, I got AOL. You remember AOL? Still have AOL. AIM. I was all over AIM. I got a lot of dates on AIM. But for those of you that have had your emails for all those years, okay, you have all those contacts from 15, 20 years ago. Okay? Maybe you haven't spoken to them. Maybe some of those people did change their email address. They're not big, sexy 69 anymore. But you know, maybe they still are. You never know. But reach out to these people. Okay, you've met them at some point in your life. Okay, it's not a complete stranger. Okay, it's not a complete stranger. So the first group, friends and family, we talked about. Okay, so you're gonna go through your entire phone, your entire network. Okay, I suggest that you do this on an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, to organize yourselves and make it easier for you. Okay, because after you do it one time, you won't have to do it again. You'll always be able to go back to it and have it there. Okay, Excel's definitely easier. So you'll start off with first and last name. You want to make sure at the very least you have their phone numbers and their emails. Okay, if you don't have their emails, get it. It could be a simple text. It could be a simple message on Facebook. It could be a message on LinkedIn. However you can get it. Try and get full name, phone number, and email address. Okay. The first task is to get all this information. Okay. You're gonna fill up all the friends and family you have. Okay. The next group is all the rich people you know. Okay. You're gonna go through your list and add all the rich people you know. Okay. And I'm talking about real rich. Okay. I'm talking about wealth. I'm talking about successful entrepreneurs. I'm talking about business owners. I'm talking about doctors, lawyers. Okay. People that have extra income that may want to invest. Okay. People that have several homes. Okay. Not Miami rich. Okay. Not the guy that posts a picture with a Bentley one day on the beach, but then you see him the next day at Burger King in his Honda Accord. Okay, anybody can drive a Bentley for a day. It's not that difficult here. Okay, so be very careful because the rich people are very, very important. Okay, and I'll explain a little bit later on as to why. Okay, and then the last group is going to be anyone that. Oh, side note. Please do not put me on that list. I have to say this because somebody did actually, they only put me and Jose on the list because they said that we were the only rich people they knew. So do not put me and Jose on the list. I can't be one of your contacts. But the last group is anybody that is in the industry of real estate. Okay? Remember, the real estate industry is very diverse. Okay? There are many aspects to real estate. Okay? There are some there at the bottom that you can see. I'm not just talking about realtors. I'm not just talking about mortgage brokers. Okay? You can think of people that own title companies. Okay? Real estate attorneys, handymen, general contractors, permit runners, landscapers, pool guys, plumbers, electricians, anybody that is in the real estate world or partakes in it is a person of interest, okay? Side story, had a gentleman, he called, one of the first times we did this actually, he called his, was it his uncle? No, that's another story, sorry, that's for something else. The landscaping story. Kid asked his landscaper one day if he knew any investors. Mind you, these people that do landscaping are not the most educated individuals sometimes. And he said, no, he didn't know any investors, he wasn't too sure. So the person asked in a way that he thought maybe he would better understand it. Juanito was the guy's name. Juanito, do you know anybody, or do you have anybody that you cut multiple lawns for? Oh, yeah, I have this one guy that cut about 12 of his houses. Obviously, this guy owns 12 homes, he's probably an investor. He says, Juanito, can you put me in contact with this guy? Sure, I'll put you in contact with him, no problem. Give my business card, tell him to call me. As a matter of fact, they ended up meeting at one of his houses one day so they could meet personally. Guy ends up being a very, very, very big time realtor, investor. He probably bought probably 4 or 5 homes, about 3 years ago. He's about 4 or 5, that was about it. He kind of stopped. He actually reached out to this guy about 2 months ago. The guy actually doesn't work with us anymore, he works for another company. But he reached out to him to tell him that he was interested in selling his portfolio. Owned about, I don't know, I think it was about 60 homes. So the gentleman actually that used to work here approached me to see if I had anybody that might be interested in buying the portfolio. We've sent it out to a few people and nothing has hit yet. But this gentleman, from asking his landscaper, literally made probably about 30 grand off those 4 or 5 deals. And if he sells this portfolio, probably stands to make, give or take, I'd say probably about 300 grand on that. All because he asked his landscaper if he knew somebody that owned multiple lawns, okay? The moral of that story is, obviously never judge a book by its cover, okay? More importantly, okay, when you're doing this task, okay, nothing comes easy in life, I can assure you that. Most of the people that you're gonna speak to are not gonna care what you have to say. They're probably not even gonna be paying attention to you, unfortunately, okay? But it's up to you, okay, to go that extra mile. In Spanish, you say rebuscar. I associate in English, hustle. If you don't hustle for your money, okay, you're not going to make money, okay? If I took every no that I've had in life and moved on to the next, definitely wouldn't be where I am here today, okay? So if somebody tells you no, ask the same question in another way. Say no again, ask it in a different way, okay? You have to literally scratch at the surface, peel away until they finally say, you know what, here's what you want, leave me the hell alone, don't call me anymore, call these 10 people. I think that's fine, that's all I want. You got the job done, okay? So do not settle for just no's or I don't know anybody, okay? Because they're lying to you, okay? Raise your hand, and I'm hoping everybody raises their hand here. If you know somebody that is looking to buy, rent, sell, or invest in real estate, everybody should raise their hand. If you aren't, you're in trouble. But everybody that you come in contact with in your life will know somebody like this, okay? Maybe it won't be somebody directly to them, so it might not click in their head right away, okay? But you speak to your cousin, and he's gonna say, no, man, I don't know anybody, Really? What about that cute receptionist you're always talking to me about? You know, she doesn't have, oh man, yeah, actually, you know what? She needs to rent a condo. She just got into a fight with her boyfriend, and she's looking for a condo. Boom, you got a listing, you got a rental listing, okay? Simple as that. But if you would have just taken your cousin's no and moved on, you would have never gotten that deep, okay? What I am teaching you here today is important that you tap into your network. More importantly, I'm teaching you how to tap into other people's network. Okay? That is what I do. Okay? That is why I am where I am today. Okay? Granted, I did have a very, very wonderful network. I was able to amass many, many great relations over the years. I am a character. I was the likable person in every situation I've ever been in. I was in the nightlife industry. I was in corporate America. I was a popular person growing up, so I had a lot of relations. My network was a very nice one. But I made more money by tapping into other people's networks than tapping into my own, okay? And that's what I am here to do for you, okay? This is the first class that I teach because I think it's the most important, okay? The reason why this class is the most important, okay, is because you can make money immediately and not know a single thing about real estate. And that is the truth. You cannot know how to write a contract, you cannot not know how to even sign on to the MLS, okay? But you can make money with this company, okay? You can't do it with Kai, you can't do it with Keller Williams or Remax or anybody else, okay? You can only do that here, okay? And I'm giving you this opportunity. I literally just handed you $20,000, okay? You hear me keep on repeating it, but it still goes in one ear, not the other, unfortunately, okay? This will allow you, okay, not only to generate leads for the investment world, but obviously for the traditional world, okay? That's why I always recommend for George, if it's a new realtor, even if they don't want to do investments, they come to this training, okay? Because if they do this, it will allow them to tap into their network and at least generate traditional leads for themselves, okay? For those of you that only want to do investments, okay, you're a realtor. If you're calling and your uncle all of a sudden is your third call and he says, yeah, I want to list my $400,000 house in Plantation, but you didn't want to do traditional, are you going to turn down that listing? No. Of course not, okay? Are you going to be happy as hell if you just make $12,000 on that listing room by calling your uncle they hadn't called in 6 months? It happens more often than you people think, okay? If you're not constantly reminding people that you are in the business, you are forgotten, okay? Even though it's your uncle, even though it's your sister. I've had people literally say, my sister just sold her house, and I'm an agent, and it wasn't with me. That should never happen. That should never happen, okay? But it happens. It happens. You are forgotten. If you're not in people's face reminding them, if you're not promoting your business, if you're not promoting yourself, okay, no one else is going to do it, okay? No one's going to feel sorry for you. No one's going to say, oh, we're doing everything. You think about what realtor they know now, okay? So it's something that you have to do on your own, okay? So, that being said, okay, very, 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 very important, okay? Let these people know this is a way you can put money in your pocket, especially for those that want to do investments, okay? It takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, I promise you. It took me 9 months to close my first deal. 9 months. When it was supposedly easier and there was less competition. But we have a wonderful lady right here that is closing her first deal on Monday, and it took her 40 days, 30, 40 days, give or take. 30 or 40 days, okay? So, some of us are lucky, like she was. Some of us are unlucky, like I was. It took me 9 months, okay? I was a late bloomer. But the goal is to put money in your pocket, okay? That is the goal. If I can put $20,000 in your pockets in 30 days, would you be willing to give me 30 days?
Yeah.
Of course. Why? Because financially you're probably good. If you don't make money for another 30 days, you're still good. I would hope a little bit longer, but you're good. You can dedicate now a little bit more time, okay? You have to put in the time, you have to put in the work in the beginning, okay? After, you can do things from home, you can do things from the road. It doesn't have to be a full-time job, okay? For those ladies that are here, women tend to like real estate because it allows them to be stay-at-home moms or wives and bring a little bit of cheese to the table, okay? But not be slaving 9 to 5, okay, or 9 to 7 or whatever it is. Okay, so focus on this, put money in your pockets, and if you're serious about investments, then we can get rocking and rolling. okay? So, friends and family, make sure you call them, make sure you let them know you're in real estate. More importantly, okay, your sales people, okay? Number one rule in sales is you don't sell the product, you sell yourself, okay? So if you call your abuela, and you're gonna talk to her and ask her some of those basic questions that you see at the bottom of the page, make sure that you speak to abuela the way you've always spoken to abuela. You're not gonna call abuela and say, hola abuela, how are you? Do you know anybody that wants to buy, rent, or invest in real estate? If you've never spoken to abuela like that, don't speak to her, okay? If she is Cuban as hell, and if she speaks Balacera Spanish, then you will speak Balacera Spanish to her, okay? Be yourself. People will give you the business because of you, not because of the product. At the end of the day, it's a little bit easier for us. The product that we sell is something that they actually need, real estate. Everybody needs real estate. Everybody needs a place to live. So it is a little bit easier for us. You're not selling a Dirt Devil or a Rainbow vacuum cleaner door to door, okay? It doesn't make it a little bit easier. But at the end of the day, they want to deal with you as the person that they know, not some machine. Hence why you see at the bottom of the page, I don't give scripts, okay? I'm someone that does not like scripts. There's someone in this office, which I won't name names, loves scripts, okay? Everybody is different, everything works differently for everybody in this office. I personally don't like them. I know when somebody's reading off a script. You know what I do when someone calls me and they read off a script? I immediately hang up. Immediately. Sometimes if I'm bored and I'm not too busy, I'll bust their balls because I know that script and I know what they're supposed to say, so I start saying the difficult questions and sometimes. But scripts are so unpersonal, okay? So do not use scripts, be yourself, okay? It's so much easier on yourselves and on that person on the other end of the phone, okay? So there's a couple basic questions that you should be concentrating on. Those numbers or those questions are listed at the bottom of the page. Just go through them, and like I said, make it like a more casual conversation. Don't sit there and drill them and ask question after question after question. No, there's a conversation you're having with the person, okay? Maybe this is a friend that you haven't spoken to in 6 months or 6 years, okay? Find out about the person, you know? Find out about what they've done, what's their story. That's me. I love to hear everybody's story. That's the one thing, that's why I like to talk about it. I like to hear everybody's story, and I like to share my story. But it's very important to gain that connection with the person, okay? If you don't connect with the person, you're just another person that calls throughout the day, okay? So you have to find that connection, whether it's asking them what they like to do. Maybe they love to cook, and you do too. There's your connection, okay? Associate that person with cooking, and the next time you call them, ask them about cooking, okay? You call that guy, he likes golf, you like to golf, perfect. Hey, talk about golf, talk about sports, whatever that connection is, okay? Try to remember it. If you can add it to your list, do it, okay? Because it'll give you that one thing to always go back to. The key is connecting with the person, okay? Connect with them, not just call them. You want to connect, right? So you'll go through those questions, having a conversation with them, okay? These people are easy and simple. You're gonna go over all those questions, looking to buy, rent, sell, invest. Remember, ask for more. Ask about people they may have in their in their network. Ask about their front door neighbor, their back door neighbor, their receptionist, their dog walker, whatever. Okay, just throw people out there that may be in their lives and ask them to think about their specific situation. Because maybe they might not need you, but somebody in their life needs you. Okay, and that's what you want to get to. Okay, always ask for one. If you can get one referral, you've done your job. Okay, do not hang up until you at least get one. Don't let them take you off the phone. Just get one referral. Okay, one referral is all we're at least looking to get from everyone. Okay. Yes.
Let's say I call my brother in
Okay.
now he's there, we're here, we have our license here. What's the best way to do it?
First thing that I would do is obviously, you are not licensed in Iowa. I don't know anybody licensed in Iowa. But what I would do is I would Google Iowa top realtor, okay, in his city or zip code. Find out who that person is, call them, let them know you're an agent in Miami, you have a brother that has a listing, you want to co-broker with him. Are you willing to co-broker the deal with me or not? Yes, you are, perfect, I want a 50-50 split.
Didn't George just get his license already?
In Illinois.
Oh.
In Illinois. So, I mean, most people, if you're set on your 50-50, maybe that first top guy is gonna tell you, no, I'll give you a 10% referral fee. If you don't want 10%, hang up, call the next guy. Hang up, call the next guy. Hang up, call the next guy. If you have your number on 50%, then that's your number. I'm assuming if you're doing that for your cousin though, yeah, 50% is probably gonna go back to your brother anyway. I'm assuming, I mean, I don't know. If you were my brother, I would hope so.
For instance, so you're saying that every time I call somebody,
I'm sorry?
every time I call somebody, I can't hang up the phone until they actually give me the phone number of somebody that they know?
A referral, correct.
Like a referral, but
A
not
referral.
just like, oh, I will let you know because I know somebody.
No,
You
no, no.
just get that phone
Give me
number.
the phone number right then and there. Text it to me right now. Or let's hang up, but sometimes I say I can't get it right now. Okay, I'm gonna hang up, look for it, I'm calling you in 60 seconds. And call them back in 60 seconds.
Instead of them saying, well, I'm gonna ask
I'm gonna text you
them
later.
and they'll call you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
remember,
Because that's what always
you
happens.
you can do it with this group because this is your friends and your family. These are people that know you. I would hope your sister will give you at least one referral. If not, it means you're not a good sister. You know, obviously, every group is handled very differently. This group, friends and family, they should be openly giving you everything you possibly can. Okay? Hopefully, you've been a good friend or relative.
Person in life.
If not, then you're definitely in trouble. Okay? But friends and family, very important, very easy, and a great learning tool to get you set up. Okay? Make sure you take notes. There'll be questions that people ask you that you don't know the answer to. Okay? Guess what? There's no problem with saying I don't know.
Like yesterday, I work for Hertz. I'm
For
one of my
Hertz?
drivers.
Okay.
One of my drivers, he was just, he knew I'm a real estate agent now. And he's an old guy, so I was telling him I want to sell my condo, but I want to buy something else, but I want to have a reverse mortgage. I didn't know like.
Okay, a reverse mortgage is a pain in the ass. I really don't recommend it. Me personally, I don't recommend it to my clients. I think there's smarter ways of doing it, but some people don't care, I guess. At the end of the day, the one that's gonna suffer is gonna be his next of kin. They're the ones that they're saying, I don't care about you guys. I'm gonna make sure I'm taken care of, and I'll leave you the mojon to deal with when I die. Basically, that's what a reverse mortgage kind of is. There's other ways of doing it, but that's a lead. So definitely move forward with it. What I said, there's no problem or issue with saying I don't know. Okay, it's better to say I don't know than say the wrong thing. Okay, the one thing you don't want to say is the wrong thing. Okay, there's nothing. Hey, I just got my license. I don't know, but I'm gonna get back to you. I'm gonna find out right now. Maybe you're at Hertz. You're gonna call George, or Miguel, or whoever your manager is, or whatever office it is that you signed up, and ask them. Or there's this other wonderful thing that we have that's called our phones, and you can Google everything, because I Google everything. Okay? Well, I don't really Google anything anymore. I ask Alexa. Alexa,
Well,
this is what I do.
there's a WhatsApp group that you're.
There is a WhatsApp, that's right. There is a WhatsApp group as well on Lifestyle, so they'll be able to help you out with that.
When you refinance a mortgage, do we get like a percentage of that? Or is that something just the mortgage lender? They would
Just the-
see that's on here.
Just
Like,
the
we're
mortgage
gonna
lender.
refinance mortgage.
Just the mortgage lender would make the money, okay? But, wait, we're recording. We'll speak about that later. We'll speak about that later. I'm private, and if it helps, it could be used in the court of law. Yes, sir.
How do title company benefit from us, acting, like, it says, do we have any short sales that have fallen through?
Correct. Title companies, okay, who closes our transactions? Title companies and attorneys, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. How many of you have had a deal fall through? Most agents have had a deal fall through, especially in the investment pool, okay? Who's the first one that knows the deal fell through?
Not a crime.
The title company, okay? So if they know that you like, and the reasons why they fall out of, or fall through is because if we talk about traditional, the appraisal didn't come in at the right number, okay? But if we're talking specifically about the investment world, the property came back with liens or violations. The buyer doesn't want to assume any liens or violations. Guess what? I do. I love that. Hope it has liens or violations, okay? The guy doesn't have money to close all of a sudden. His lender denied him. No hard money. He can't buy the property. What does he need? Money. Who's got money? I do. Okay? So title company, I get a lot of business from title companies that call me. Why? Because if that title company doesn't close that deal, guess what? They work for free. So they want to close. So they'll call somebody that can close right away before they lose the deal, so they get paid for the work that they've done. So title companies are a great source of finding deals for yourself. Okay, so if you know a title company person, take care of them very well. Bribe them. I'm just kidding, George. Don't bribe them. Okay, the title companies are very good. Okay, so friends and family. Everybody understands the friends and family group. Okay, and once again, if you don't know, say you don't know. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, my favorite group: rich people. Okay, successful people, entrepreneurs. Okay, this is a very, very, very important group. Okay, this is a group. Okay, that I strongly recommend that after. This is the group that I think you should do last. Okay, you want to at least have some verbiage, some eloquence about real estate. I still don't think you should be doing too much talking, but you at least want to be able to BS 60 seconds on the phone with them, okay? At least that, okay? So I definitely urge you to do this group last, okay? But after you've done your friends and your family, and after you've done your real estate people, comes this group, okay? We strongly suggest, or I strongly urge, okay? These are the people that you just kind of give them a call and find out a little bit about their story, okay, as you see down at the bottom. Okay? Most importantly, a trait that I've found in rich people is even though they may not do it, they love to hear about their success. So when you ask someone, hey, what's your story? How did you amass this fortune? How did you build this empire? They might not say, oh, I really don't want to say the story, but deep down inside, trust me, they do. Okay? Everybody likes to hear about their accomplishments. Okay? So toot their horn a little bit, ask them about their story. Okay? At the end of the day, it could be a simple life learning lesson to you. Okay? I love to speak to rich people all the time. Okay? I want to speak to billionaires on a regular basis because I want to be a billionaire. So even if it's just for a life lesson of someone that's made it, even if it's in another industry, okay, it's definitely worth your while. Okay, but you will speak to them about their wealth, their net worth, how they've amassed, you know, what they've done in their empire. Do they do investments? Have they thought about their future? You know, what revenue streams of income do they have? Do they have passive income? Okay, all these different things. Have you thought about diversifying? You know, you got to know the lingo a little bit, so that's why I like for you to wait until the end. Okay, but once you get them speaking, okay, you get them chitter-chatting about what they've done. Okay, that's when you're able to now throw in a little bit of what you can now offer them. Okay. Just simple key points that I put on there. I don't want you saying too much. Okay, oh, that's great. You know what? I just started working for this amazing private equity firm. Okay, they're one of the largest in South Florida. They're actually in 5 markets across the United States. Okay, they've done over 1,000 fix and flip deals. They've done over 100 million in acquisitions and dispositions. Okay, and right now, all their deals are generating between 25 and 35% returns, okay? And they're offering the opportunity to jump on in and make anywhere between a 12 and an 18% return. How does that sound, okay? If they're wealthy, they hear that 12 and 18% return, I promise you they're gonna be very, very interested and very, very excited. I promise you that, okay? Now, problem is, they're gonna wanna know a lot more right away, okay? But you got the hook in the mouth, okay? The next step is, they're gonna ask you a couple questions. If you know the answer, which you may or may not, okay, depends. Some people come and ask me a lot of questions before they get to this part, and I tell them so they have a little notepad and they're kind of prepared. But if you don't know the answer, listen, man, I don't know the answer to that. But I would love the opportunity to sit you down with one of the partners at the firm, okay? So we can further discuss all the different opportunities that we have for you. Ideally, you're not gonna be able to close this person until they come to this office and sit down with me or Jose, okay? 99.9% of the time, okay? It just sucks, but I don't know how to explain it, but they want to speak to the person in charge, they want to speak to the person that understands them, they want to speak to the person that's on similar levels. Wealthy people like to associate with wealthy people, they understand each other a little bit better. It's just life, I guess, I don't know. I see it often. So there's nothing wrong with saying that you don't know, but you want to put them in contact or set up a meet and greet with a partner in the firm. Okay? Right off the bat, oh, you're putting me directly in contact with a partner. I don't got to go to your supervisor or your manager or anybody else. Oh, it's a partner, perfect. They'll get to come to the office. Okay? I never take a meeting with someone on this list unless it's here at this office. Okay, it's very important to get them in here first. They may want to meet somewhere else. I get pushy and I make them come here. Okay, it's very important they come here and see the office. Okay, why? This is Miami. Okay, there are tons of people that are full of shit. Pardon my French, but this is Miami. And most people tend to think you are full of shit. You talk the talk, oh, everything's fine and dandy, but they still don't believe it. As soon as they walk through the door, just like I'm sure most of you did when you walked through this first door, you were impressed. It's an impressive office, it really is. It lets that person know that this isn't a Mickey Mouse company. These people are not bullshit. They are for real, okay? So that is the first thing that you want to eliminate from their thought process, because if not, they're guarded. Okay, they have their guard up, they don't want to talk about anything, they don't want to say anything, they're all skeptical and sketchy and feeling weird. As soon as they walk to the office, I promise you, I see it in people's eyes, I see it in their body language. They walk in and say, oh, wow, this is real. They were expecting literally like a carpet room with 3 phones and an old lady chewing gum and drinking coffee. I mean, that's what they envision most things do, especially when you start talking to somebody about 12 and 18% returns. Those returns are unheard of. I've had people that have hung up on me. You're offering what? This is a scam for sure. They hung up. They don't believe it, but it is true. And I can show it in our P&Ls. Okay? So these are the type of people you definitely want to get here in the office. You want to get them with myself or Jose, not Miguel, not any one of your other managers. Okay? Very important. Right? Some of you may work in other offices. I love all your managers. All your managers are great. But when it comes to this side of the business, you want to make sure it's with me or Jose only. Very important. Not George either. Sorry, George. Not George. Me or Jose, very important. Okay. Yes?
What do you, I don't know about those meetings.
You do. You work for rich people. We all work for rich people. We all have bosses. Most of us have bosses. Or your cousins have bosses. Or your uncles have bosses. Remember, as you're calling all these people, which is finalize or wrap up, okay? What I told you that is important about this task is not so much you tapping into your own network. This is about you tapping into other people's network. Hence, what am I doing here today? I'm tapping into your network, correct? Okay, that is the key to success. That is how you build relationships. I will never be able to meet anybody in your network. Okay? Maybe I come across a scattered few here and there, okay? But I'm a random person to them. But if you bring that friend or that person that you know to the table, okay, there's a correlation between you and him. So immediately I have that same correlation with that person. okay? So I use you to make myself feel comfortable with that person, to generate money for you, which obviously generates money for me, but that is the key. The key is to tapping into other people's networks. You may not know anybody rich, but I guarantee your network does. Somebody in your network could know Donald Trump. You never know. You never know until you find out and start finding out who is in your network. Because most of us don't know who's in our network. Okay? Yes?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but when I tell these people, like, oh, you could get, if you flip with that, like if I find you a deal and you flip it, you could get from 20 to 25% in 3 to 6 months, right? That's like the average? If you find a good deal and blah, blah, blah. I'm just trying to convert somebody into this business, but they get those returns, they get 20 to 25 in about 3 months. So.
I don't like to promise 20 to 25.
No, I don't promise it. So
I
I'm
like to
trying
say,
to convert them.
I like to say 15 to 25. I like a bigger spread,
Mhm.
okay? I never say 3 to 6.
But
Okay?
that's the thing, they get that return on what the business they're doing. So they tell me.
Is it a
like-
legal business?
It's a legal business.
What business is it?
It's a cell phone business.
A what?
Cell phone?
Cell phone business?
They're distributors.
Sexual business?
Cell
phone.
phone.
Wait,
I'm sure they're
the
getting.
sexual cell phone business? Okay, yeah.
That is not too legal.
Yeah, 976 wet, I can't compete with them. I definitely cannot.
So I can
The
convert
cell
them?
phone business?
Yeah, it's legal. I come from that industry.
Or some businesses.
So that's my network. So
Even
you
if it
try to
is?
convert them, but
Even if it
it's
is,
hard.
even if it is, if they are making that kind of money, it would be wise of them to diversify a little bit.
But the thing is that they.
I make money in
do-
probably 5 different industries.
Yeah, but these people are so like close-minded. I don't know how to convert them.
Let me speak to
Bring
them.
him.
Let me speak to them.
Was the percentage of like 20 to 25% versus the cell phone gonna be different from like 15 to 20% for buying a house? Isn't the interest gonna be way more? The cell phones are way more.
Well, return is return regardless. Their initial investment could be smaller, so it's still an 18% return. You invest 100 grand, it's still 18%. If you invest $1 million and get 180 grand, it's still an 18% return.
But they're making more returns working on the business.
Right.
Here they will make a return without working.
Right, so it just depends. That's why I have to understand their business to be able to see how I would be able to fit.
I have a question.
Yes.
Like, what would be the minimum amount for how long and what would we get it?
That would be
somebody to return.
that would be discussed on a case-by-case basis, okay? Why? Okay? And the reason why it's normally only me and Jose that actually speak to these individuals is we're able to read people. I'm able to get a good sense of what can they bring to the table. So for example, you bring one gentleman to the table and he says, I have 100,000. Okay? That as we're conversing, I catch up on a few things, and he is part of a big social club, and he knows a bunch of other partners, and he happens to mention these other partners, okay? And I am a firm believer that maybe if he invests and he does well with us, it will open up the door for him to bring other partners, okay? So what would I do there, okay? I would sweeten up his pot. Instead of saying maybe the 12 to 15, maybe I'll offer him, hey, listen, don't do this. You have partners at your health club or whatever the heck you wanna call it, okay? Why don't we do this? I know what I can do, okay? I'm gonna sweeten the deal for you. I'm gonna give you, instead of 12 to 15, I'm gonna give you 15 or 18, okay? But as soon as you make that first check with me of your 18% return, you're gonna bring your buddies from your golf club, right? And from there, we're gonna promise them between 12 and 15, and I'm gonna offer you some of their money is gonna go towards your initial investment. I'm not gonna give you money. I'm gonna put it in like if you put it into my investment. So if you put in 100 grand and you brought 3 guys that brought me 100 grand, I'm gonna say you brought in 110 grand. And I'll pay you a return on 110, let's just say, okay? I would do that with that specific person because it makes sense to him. He's gonna bring me 3 or 4 other guys, okay? If I see it's one old man that has worked his whole life and all he has is that 100 grand, I'm gonna offer him 12%. There's no need for me to offer him more. It's still better than he's ever gonna get, and there's nothing he's gonna bring to the table, okay? And that's why I said I like to meet with these individuals because I can pick those things up. I've been blessed with a trait that I know how to structure things very well. I swear to God, I must have been an expert in Legos or Tetris when I was young. I don't remember. But I can structure things very well. I can grasp people. People normally feel very comfortable with me. So that's why it's a case by case basis.
So you were born with that you're saying? You were born with
I
that
was
mindset?
either born with it or, bless my father's soul, I learned it from him. Because I worked with him for 12 years, so I saw the way that he was, and he was like that. He was very meticulous in putting things together. But yes, that is one of my gifts, and I'm also thankful for. So yeah, case by case basis. Compensation is also case by case to a certain extent, but there is obviously compensation when it comes to it. Okay. So rich people. Anything else about this group? Any questions, concerns you may have about this group? Yes.
How would we learn as far as like the verbiage of financial information to speak to rich people? Because like you mentioned, when you speak to rich people, if you don't know what you're talking about, they don't really want to talk to you.
Right, and that's why I suggest you meet with me before you reach this group.
Mhm.
And remember, this will be the third group, so by
Yeah.
this time you're talking about hopefully a few months in the business. You've spoken a little bit, maybe you've already got a deal in the pipeline. Since you have a deal in the pipeline, maybe you find yourself coming here more, you find yourself speaking to me a couple more times.
Mhm.
Just with time, okay, just with time. I don't expect you to go sit there and read a book about how to speak, rich people for dummies. I don't need you to read that. But basic stuff, yes.
I'm gonna step out. Just, I feel it would be rude if I didn't at least introduce myself, since I see so many faces that I don't know.
A lot of ways today.
Is this all lifestyle agents, or are there people here who don't pertain to lifestyle? Anyone not a lifestyle agent? Raise your hand. Right. Okay, so pretty much everyone. Okay, good. Welcome to the fam. Are you a relative of a lifestyle agent? Oh, there you go. Very good. Well, I'm Jose. Nice to meet you all. If you ever need any time, ever want to discuss investments, any strategies for you to grow your business, that's what we're here for.
Didn't get your name.
Jose. Jose Perilla.
Hi.
Hello. What's your name?
Alvarez. Alvarez.
Alvarez. Yeah, Alvarez.
I'm 2 days in the company.
Really?
2 days.
And how long in the business?
Well, pretty much.
2 days, 48 hours?
Yeah, I have my license 2 years, but
Okay.
haven't really done
Well,
it.
all right, so time to really get down to business.
Been in
Good.
corporate America all this time, so.
There you go. Big change.
Big.
Good for you.
So my mindset now is from employee to employer.
You're self-employed entrepreneur.
So,
Hell
Good.
yeah.
Well, you're in the right place.
Amen.
That's for sure.
I'm not
Welcome.
afraid of talking.
Good. Good. I like that.
I'm a go-getter.
You have to be. Listen, and if you are, I think everybody's a little afraid of talk. Used to be a long time ago very afraid of talking, but it's good to be afraid, because if you're scared of something, you can conquer it. That's what this is all about. So it's good if you're not scared.
Well,
More
I'm
power to you.
I'm afraid only if I don't know what I'm talking about.
Right.
If I have confidence in what I'm talking about, I will talk.
Good.
And if
Well,
I get the
You're at the right
training,
pace.
learn as much as you can, because it's never good to talk if you don't know what you're talking about. It's better to stay quiet sometimes. There's too many people in this business who open their mouth and they don't know what the hell they're talking about. With that being said, you're in great hands. No one better to learn this business from here than Fern, in my opinion, my humble opinion.
thank you.
Sorry for interrupting.
Yes.
How's the training so far? Did it just start? You guys been on
Winding
for a little
down.
bit?
Winding down.
How's the training been? Good. Fern, step out for 1 second.
He's my boss.
That's a really something.
Gotta get fired,
I
please.
don't know, people wink when they said it. They're good. Good training?
Yes.
You know what I
Good.
can say though, Fernie, from the first time I did take this course or training, from now, it's like, I see the list, cause I know you was like, oh, I give it to a lot of people and they don't really engage it, but you now you put different little clues and how to approach certain people. So
I'm
when I
easy
first
for
got
you
the
guys.
list, I was like, alright, I don't know how to approach this certain group or that certain group, so with the
It
thing
makes
at the
it-
bottom, it makes it a little bit more easier, and like she said, if you know what you're talking about, then you can run your mouth for hours.
Yeah, you can, that's for sure.
Listen,
I know I can.
just like anything else
Yeah.
that we do, it's been a learning curve. We're not the oldest people in this business. We like to consider ourselves pretty young, especially for where we're at. So we're always learning. So I'm sure if you've been coming to these trainings for 6 months, a year, 2 years, however long, I'm sure it's gotten better. And I would hope it continues to get better. We're always trying to grow. We never, no matter where we get to, we never think we know it all. So even your feedback, even if you've been in the business for 2 days, if you see something that you feel can be improved, bring it to our attention. Talk to Fernando after the training, send an email, whatever it is. Because a lot of time, the input from even people that I meet on the street, we apply into our business. Because we're always learning. I feel like I learn from them. Listen, I'll give you guys a good